Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another session of Zena World's Heart to Heart. Heart to Heart is being specially organized for Dr. Nagagireesh Bojanala, a seasoned academician and a pharmacovigilance expert. He graduated from the University of South Bohemia, Czech Republic, in the development biology. He worked as a postdoctoral fellow in the prestigious institutions across the globe, such as Institute Corey Paris, Pennsylvania State University, USA, IISC India, and TIFR India. Again, very prestigious institute. He has over 10 years of research and teaching experience in model organisms. He, elegance, he has done a development biology, biotechnology, and genetic with proven teaching excellence. During his career, he served in various capacities as Dean of Sciences, teacher, researcher, and mentor. My God. And in his course of journey, he contributed significantly towards the student career progression. I mean, he contributed towards the students, which is a milestone in his career. Then he is at the moment working in a clinical research organization where he delivers high quality, safety, aggregate reports for medicinal products in accordance with global and regulatory guidelines, which are instrumental in monitoring safety and efficacy of a medicinal product. We have this in India, but so welcome, Dr. Girish, and we would like to know more about you from your uh, perspective and from your experience. What I've read is about, I think it's not even one fraction of what you are. So please, Dr. Girish, Nagagireesh, please go ahead and let us hear from you
Yeah,
how you
yeah.
how you intend to improve society and how you intend to do the world a good. Uh, you know,
Yes, yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Shand. Thank you, Rajiv Garu. Thank you, Zina family. So मैं थोड़ा हिंदी इंग्लिश मिक्स करता रहूंगा थोड़ा
बराबर
ऑडियंस के लिए अच्छे के लिए थैंक्स फॉर द इंट्रोडक्शन यस मेरे को बचपन से ही साइंस बहुत अच्छा लगता था बिकॉज आई वाज वेरी पैशनेट एंड क्यूरियस ऑन मेनी थिंग्स so usually we develop our future ideas or future prospects of where do we want to go during our childhood or whatever we have exposed at that time. But mera to almost I am now 44 years. So you take back 30 years back. So we know about हमारा country का education क्या था, exposure क्या था. उसका हिसाब से it is we never develop individuality at that time. कुछ पेरेंट्स ऐसा बोलेंगे ऐसा करेंगे और कोई घर में कोई अंकुल होगा वो आईएएस बन गया आईपीएस बन गया कोई अंकुल इंजीनियर बन गया डॉक्टर बन गया तो वो देखते रहेंगे उससे भी कुछ दिखता है हमको बट at the time of my childhood education I was not having the broad picture what's its education where it will take because basically मेरा parents were educated. My father was intermediate. My mother was seventh standard, but my father was a businessman. So we were licensing traders. We were kind of brokers between Andhra and Tamil Nadu for mainly jaggery during the Ugadi season or Shankranti season. We do take the jaggery from farmers and then we get the jaggery powder and transfer it to Chennai agencies. So मेरा पापा तो businessman था तो हमको स्कूल से ही education आ रहा था but I used to be very fond of my mother and I used to very close to my mother and my family is also we have 4 kids. I had 2 elder sisters, 1 younger brother. I was somewhere in the middle. So my mother is very religious. So she used to sit with me on Saturdays, and we used to do a lot of pujas and slokas. Somehow I used to attach to my mother in that. So bringing those things, fortunately, माँ का ब्लेसिंग आता है तो सब अच्छा चलता है. तो क्या हो गया, मेरे को पढ़ाई में अच्छा चल रहा था, एंड माय बोथ पेरेंट्स वर इंटेलेक्ट आल्सो. सो पढ़ाई में मैं पहले से ही थर्ड और फिफ्थ स्टैंडर्ड से ही आगे था, एवरी टाइम क्लास फर्स्ट. सो और घर में आते ही थोड़ा पढ़ाई का ये करो वो करो, ये थोड़ा घर में भी माहौल था, दीदी लोग भी पढ़ा अच्छा कर रहे थे, तो पढ़ाई में इंटरेस्ट आ रहा था. ऐसी ऐसी मैं ऑलवेज 10th स्टैंडर्ड आल्सो आई एम माय टाउन फर्स्ट पर्सन to get almost 79% for my town. So I was the first. And there are the local TV channels, वो सब इधर आ गया कि आपका बेटा आ गया, गांव का फर्स्ट आ गया, चलो हम वीडियो ले लेते. और मेरा स्कूल टीचर्स फॉर यूजिंग इट एज a publicity to join kids into that. So while coming into 5th to 10th, I was really fond of science. That was the one thing I could feel like I was very connected. Somehow mathematics, arithmetics, logical thinking was not much into mine, though I was getting good marks in maths, but my interests were in science. So I started getting interest into that, and my parents wanted me to become a doctor, and so they joined me in the BPC program. So I joined the BPC program, biology, physics, chemistry in Andhra. So intention of joining the medical field as doctor, बट कंपटीशन तो उतना हमको नहीं था. क्या कंपटीशन है, रिजर्वेशन का क्या है, हमारा रैंक क्या आना है, तो बहुत मुश्किल था एनालिसिस. बट मेरा गांव का एजुकेशन था तो उतना आई कुड नॉट डू मच. तो वो इंटर में मेडिकल एंट्रेंस टेस्ट होता है आंध्रा का, उसमें मिस हो गया मेरे को. डॉक्टर सीट का सिलेक्शन नहीं हुआ था, रैंक विद इन दैट रिजर्वेशन कैटेगरी नहीं आया, तो आई वाज बिहाइंड. तो घर में ऐसे ही हो रहा था ना, मैं पहले आ रहा हूँ, पहले आ रहा हूँ, पहले आ रहा हूँ, तो ये डॉक्टर बन जाएगा, तो रैंक भी आ जाएगा, ये डॉक्टर बन जाएगा, तो घर का एक डॉक्टर बन गया. तो इट वाज बिट डिसअपॉइंटिंग फॉर फैमिली, फॉर माई सेल्फ ऑल्सो, बट देर आर सर्कमस्टेंसेस दैट दैट वाज द रीजन फॉर नॉट गेटिंग इनटू दैट. तो बाद में मैं बीएससी के पढ़ाई ले लिया, बॉटनी, जूलॉजी, केमिस्ट्री. एसवी यूनिवर्सिटी में ज्वाइन हुआ था, तिरुपति बालाजी टेम्पल का प्लेस. फिर उसके बाद मैं और एक अपॉर्चुनिटी के लिए वेट कर रहा था थोड़ा. फिर आई कुड शो समथिंग, आई कुड प्रूव समथिंग टू माई सेल्फ एंड व्हाट माई इंटरेस्ट. तो ऐसा हो गया था कि बीएससी और एमएससी का एंट्रेंस आ रहा था वापस. तो एमएससी का एंट्रेंस में फिर वापस मेरे को बायोटेक्नोलॉजी एमएससी का फर्स्ट रैंक, वायरोलॉजी का फर्स्ट रैंक, अनंतपुर का यूनिवर्सिटी का फर्स्ट रैंक, फिर मेरा पेपर पूरा पेपर्स में मेरा नाम आ गया वापस. तो मम्मी पापा फिर वापस खुशी हो गए, तो बढ़िया, अच्छा है, ठीक है. तो बाद में मैं पापा को बोल दिया कि ये एमएससी जाएंगे तो इमीडिएटली जॉब से नहीं होगा, थोड़ा पीएचडी करना है, थोड़ा बहुत लॉन्ग जर्नी है. तो पापा वाज अ बिजनेसमैन, ही वाज हेजिटेंट. तो अगेन पीएचडी क्या 2 साल है, वो बोल रहा था 1 साल और 2 साल हो जाएगा पीएचडी. तो मैं बोल रहा था वो तो एक तपस्या है, कब जाएंगे कब बाहर आएंगे पता नहीं. तो somehow I struggle with a little bit of difficulty. तो पापा एग्री किया तो फर्दर स्टडीज के लिए भी. तो लकीली उस टाइम पे भी मैं अब्रॉड में थोड़ा पीएचडी करने को ट्राई कर रहा था, तो एप्लीकेशन डाल रहा था. तो लकीली स्कॉलरशिप के साथ मेरे को कनाडा में मास्टर्स मिला था पहले, मैकमास्टर यूनिवर्सिटी दैट इज इन ऑन्टारियो नियर नायागरा फॉल्स. So I was able to secure 2 years funding, and I did not trouble my father and my parents much. I was able to secure scholarship of 24,000 Canadian dollars per year. So I went there and I studied masters with research. That was the lacking in India. At that time, MSc, there was no research opportunities in the studies, only theory and practicals. That is still, I could feel after 20 years also, we are having the same issue in some of the private colleges. Our government, I am also having a mission with some of my friends to change that pattern. That is one of my goal for society or students, to bring research and education together. So there in Canada only, I was able to expose to the research of developmental biology, where I was mentioned in the previously you talked about C. elegans. So ये C. elegans क्या होता है कि ये earthworm होता है ना, earthworm से भी थोड़ा छोटा family है. ये तो nematode बोलते हैं, Nematihelminthes, Platyhelminthes, earthworm families. So ये nematode बोलते हैं इसको. So it is just like 1 millimeter. That's it. It's a worm. 1 millimeter का होता है. That's it. So हम उसके ऊपर डेवलपमेंटल बायोलॉजी का रिसर्च पढ़ाई करने के लिए गए थे. क्यों गए थे, क्या गए थे, आई विल ब्रिंग अप लिटिल बिट. सो मैं ज्यादा देर से मैं ये बात कर रहा हूँ. अभी थोड़ा ये ब्रेक लेंगे. आप कुछ पूछना चाहते तो देन आई विल टेक एंड देन आई विल एक्सप्लेन माय रिसर्च लिटिल बिट.
नहीं, आपने बहुत अच्छा समझाया है, मगर ये मुझे समझ नहीं आया, बोहेमिया जो है आपका, बोहेमिया, बोहेमिया में आप गए थे,
या
ये
दैट्स व्हाट.
बोहेमिया, इसके माने क्या होता है? बोहेमिया द कंट्री, बोहेमिया द स्टेट?
यस यस.
हाँ.
सो कनाडा में मास्टर्स करने के बाद मैं कनाडा इज पार्ट ऑफ नॉर्थ अमेरिका. सो बीच में I was thinking into some other PhD programs in US and here and there within Canada also. But somehow I met a professor in a conference, and she was from, she's a Japanese scientist, and she was from Japan, but she married a Czech person. So she was having her lab in Czech Republic, Central Europe. It's Czechoslovakia, that was Slovak and Czech was divided post independence and post World Wars. So this Czech Republic is a very small country in Europe, and somehow I developed interest into her research, and she was also working with C. elegans. So she asked me would I join her lab for a PhD program. So I was very happy for that. So I moved from there to Czech Republic to start my PhD. So this Czech Republic, the university is called University of South Bohemia. In the Czech Republic, there are like Andhra, Telangana, Karnataka, parts ki tarah South and North India. The Czech Republic is also a very small state. It's maybe half of Andhra Pradesh only, that's it. तो उसमें उसका डिफरेंट रीजन्स होता है. एक बोहेमियन रीजन, एक मोरावा रीजन और एक रीजन लाइक दैट. 4 रीजन्स होता है. हमारा यूनिवर्सिटी इज यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ साउथ बोहेमिया. इट वाज established in the Bohemian region. So if you know the capital, Czech capital Prague, so this university is just 1.5 hour or 2 hours south of Prague. So the university was established there. So I joined there for PhD program.
And what did you find it better than Canadian?
No,
Was the research more precise?
in terms of research, it was equally better or equal to Canada. And the thing with Europe and North America is that North America is, compared to India, both are very highly advanced research countries. Compared to Canada and US, the Europe is, in terms of Germany and Austria, Switzerland, they are well established. But Czech Republic was still like in somewhere mid-level of economy. So overall research was good, but economic status and overall thing, I could say it's less than Canada. So I like the research lab, the project. So that's why I was really interested to come to the lab rather than in terms of settling in a country or looking into country prospects. Even Canada may be immigration ka options almost. I did my master's around 2005 to 2008. This time the immigration was very easy for Canada. So you just like have 1 year of teaching experience, a teaching assistantship, they were giving immigration. Somehow my interest was not in that. As I said, I'm very attached to my parents. I wanted to get education and come back and stay with my parents and serve the country. That was the goal from beginning. So that's what I started the PhD in the Europe. But science was good, but in terms of country, it's different. But fortunately, general perspective ले लिया तो North America is always work commitment, in terms of work ethics and commitment to work and long working hours, productivity, high expectations.
Yes, I
The, but यूरोप में ऐसा होता है कि माहौल काम करो,
it's
लाइफ
chilling.
एंजॉय
Yes,
लाइफ एंजॉय करो, काम करो, ऐसा होता है कि
that's true. That is
बहुत
true.
अच्छा होता है. Usually my professor was a Japanese woman, Masako Asahina,
Uh-huh.
but her husband was Czech, Marek Indra. So when we used to work in Fridays, he used to run to the lab. क्या काम कर रहे हो? चलो चलो बाहर, पब चलते चलो, इधर चलते चलो, वहां पे गेम्स है, अच्छा है, काम मत करो फ्राइडे, चलो बाहर, मंडे आ जाओ काम के लिए. So
But other for 4 days they used to work like
yeah, 4 5 days they used to work, and that culture was very good, very good.
they
And
have a system. But I want to ask you about the laboratories.
yes,
Which laboratory did you find more challenging, the
yeah,
Canadian laboratory or the Czech laboratory? Because
uh,
Japanese are very precise about doing work. So
true,
maybe
true.
that's very. So what was?
So in terms of laboratory equipment and all, my model organism, what I was working in Canada and Czech was same. So
Uh-huh,
we have the same microscope settings and same instruments we used to
uh-huh,
do.
uh-huh.
But हम क्या करते थे हमारा organism को, if you have an idea about live cell imaging,
Mm-hmm.
like for example, green fluorescent protein GFP markers,
Yes,
sometimes if we want to see our tissues, living tissues in the
yes,
small animals,
yes,
so we can put a protein tag to that, and under microscope, any cell you want to look, you can tag it as green, and
yes,
you can look at the cell as that is coming as emitting light as green.
yes, yes.
So so one thing I want to mention to that, this model C elegans, तो 1 millimeter का ये है,
Mm-hmm.
you believe it or not, from 2000 to 2020, in
Mm-hmm.
2 decades,
Mm-hmm.
3 Nobel Prizes were given for
Oh.
research in this small organism. So, पहला Nobel Prize था where you need to study developmental biology because
Mm-hmm.
कैंसर में क्या हो जाता है कि cells will grow extraordinarily. सेल
Yes.
साइकिल का लिमिट होता है, कैंसर में वो लिमिट आप बैड रेगुलेशन हो जाता है, मिस रेगुलेशन, तो सेल्स कीप मल्टीप्लाइंग, तो कैंसर बन जाता है.
Mm-hmm.
So they thought we need to study this development,
Mm-hmm.
and not in cancer, in human, right? Humans are highly complex organisms.
Oh yes.
We have millions of cells, billions of neurons.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very difficult to. We do have some techniques now, advanced techniques, but 20 years back, we were looking for the answers. What is the cancer genes and proteins?
Mm-hmm.
तो साइंटिस्ट, एक साइंटिस्ट है, pioneering साइंटिस्ट, ब्रिटिश
Mm-hmm.
साइंटिस्ट, मेरे को अभी याद नहीं आ रहा है मुंह पे, बट ही इज अ वेरी फेमस ब्रिटिश साइंटिस्ट. So he picked this organism,
Mm-hmm.
and then ये 1 millimeter का बोला था ना मैंने,
Mm-hmm.
तो पूरा ऑर्गेनिज्म पे सिंगल सेल एग फर्टिलाइज होता है ना, एग से अडल्ट बनती है ना, एग तो सिंगल सेल होता है स्टार्टिंग पे, बाद में डेवलपमेंटल प्रोग्राम होके, सेल डिवीजन होके, सेल फेट होके, egg will become into different parts of the small body, then it will become adult.
Mm-hmm.
So from single egg to the adult,
Mm-hmm.
this animal has only 1,000 cells.
Okay.
1,000 cells ही है बॉडी में.
Mm-hmm.
एंड ये साइंटिस्ट क्या किए थे, जॉन सुल्स्टान, देन वन मोर साइंटिस्ट है, 3 साइंटिस्ट, दे स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम दिस एग, they took the egg and they took the microscopes. एग का डिवीजन एक से 2 हो गया, ड्राइंग कर दिया. सुल्स्टान, जॉन सुल्स्टान बोलते साइंटिस्ट, अमेरिकन साइंटिस्ट. एक एक 2 हो गया, ड्राइंग किया. 2 सेल्स 4 हो गया, ड्राइंग किया. 4 8 हो गया, ड्राइंग किया. 60 ऐसा करके वो इतना मेटिकुलस था, वो पूरा एक लाइब्रेरी बना दिया.
अरे वाह.
ये एम्ब्रियो में क्या सेल था, अडल्ट में क्या सेल स्टमक बन गया, क्या सेल रिप्रोडक्टिव बन गया, क्या सेल गट बन गया. तो he was able to catalog all the lineage.
Yes. Did you do this with laser or with a
No,
knife?
simple eye and
Simple.
normal light microscope.
नहीं तो आपने डाइसेक्ट कैसे किया?
नहीं, that yeah, good question. तो वो ये एनिमल होता है, बहुत ट्रांसपेरेंट एनिमल है, माइक्रोस्कोप के अंदर.
Yeah.
एनिमल में पूरा बॉडी सब कुछ दिखता है।
हाँ, हाँ,
स्पेसिफिक डीआईसी ऑप्टिक्स बोल के डेवलप
हाँ,
करते हैं हम। वो ऑप्टिक्स के साथ देखेंगे तो एनिमल बहुत क्लियर दिखता है, ग्लास की तरह। एनिमल में you can see in the adult, you can see in the egg, in the middle also, how many cells are there. If with your expertise, you can find them easily. तो ये एक एग से अडल्ट होने तक 4 लार्वे होता है, लार्वे 1 2 3 4। तो ये लोग पूरा एम्ब्रियानिक टू पोस्ट एम्ब्रियानिक डेवलपमेंट पूरा लाइब्रेरी बना दिया हमारा, जस्ट भगवत गीता की तरह। तो किस चैप्टर पे जाओ, क्या चाहो, वो तो 0 आवर्स से 42 आवर्स में अडल्ट बन जाएगा, 3 दिन में। So if you are looking something in one day, 24 hours, you go to the catalog, you see that you are looking in larval stage 2, क्या cell क्या बना क्या है, you can catalog it. If you have GFP and red fluorescent tags, you can tag the cell in the embryo, see what is the cell doing in the larvae 3, larvae 4, like that.
Yes, but how does this benefit mankind?
Yes, very good question. So हमको पहले कैटलॉग हो गया क्या होता है, ये सेल क्यों ऐसा हो गया, ये सेल क्यों ऐसा हो गया, कितना सेल डिविजन्स होता है, वो भी इंपॉर्टेंट। फॉर एग्जांपल, तो सो देर इज लेट्स से सेल ए एंड बी हो गया, ए बिकम्स A1 A2, बी बिकम्स B1 B2। सो बी ओनली गिव्स रेस्ट टू रिप्रोडक्टिव सिस्टम। सो एक फेट बन गया था उसको, पहले एम्ब्रियो था, बाद में इट बिकेम बी, the B became reproductive system in the adult. So we have a cell fate. So if we take that in the cancer reproductive system also, let's say reproductive cancer, ऐसी cell fate ही होता है, cell specify होता है, cell fate होता है, वो fate के हिसाब से cell division भी होती है। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, मेरा एक सेल लार्वे में रिप्रोडक्टिव सेल बन गया, तो इट विल गो इनटू 3 cell divisions and it will give 8 cells only. So in normal human being or normal development, तो how it can relate to cancer? हम क्या किए थे, ये लोग कैंसर पढ़ाई करना है तो ये एक सेल तो 8 सेल पढ़ना है, तो सेल फेट होना है, सेल साइकिल होना है, फिर सेल पोजीशनिंग होना है। तो दे फाउंड आउट सेवरल जीन्स, ये जीन होता है, ये सेल साइकिल कंट्रोल करती है, ये जीन होती है, ये सेल फेट कंट्रोल करती है, तो ये जीन होता है, कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ ऑल दोस थिंग्स, इतना 8 सेल डिवीजन पे स्टॉप होना है। So these genes, they code for proteins. And when you compare these genes and the gene product proteins to human cancers or human cells, ekdam homology. They are absolutely same as humans. There is epidermal growth factor signaling in humans. The same is the one in C. elegans, gives a signal to become the cell, the reproductive cell, EGFR signaling.
Can you not use these cells to counter the cells of to eat up the cells, the cancer cells?
Yeah, these cells, no. There is some other cells called cell death phenomena.
By adding a little more protein?
No, you may kill them by adding something more than deserved or reserved for the cell. You can kill them, but you cannot eat them as such, because it has a very primitive immune system. It does not have immune cells like humans. It is only immune system with the gut only, stomach. There is no immune cells like white blood cells, red blood cells, all those things will not be there in the worms. So then what we do specifically is that we have a wild type animal, normal division, normal growth is happening. Then the power of mutagenesis, people can use the mutagenesis like mutants. कैंसर भी एक म्यूटेशन है ना, जीन में म्यूटेशन हो गया तो कैंसर हो जाता। So what these people, Sidney Brenner, he is a British scientist, Sidney Brenner. He is a neuroscientist and developmental biologist. He picked this worm. I want to study this. So he started that. So pathways ऐसा हो जाता है, तो what they do, they treat the animals. There is a specific chemical mutagenesis where you take bunch of almost like 10,000 to 20,000 worms, and then you treat them with a chemical, ethyl methyl sulfonate, EMS. आ chemical क्या करता है, worm का reproductive system में जा जाता है, वहां पे eggs and sperms होता है ना, वहां पे mutations कर देती है। तो एक म्यूटेटेड स्पर्म, एक म्यूटेटेड एग मिक्स हो गया, तो म्यूटेटेड एनिमल विल कम आउट। तो ऐसा ये लोग क्या किया था, रिप्रोड्यूटिव सिस्टम में ये 8 सेल का स्टेज स्टॉप होता है ना, ये लोग म्यूटेशन क्या किया, गेन ऑफ फंक्शन फॉर लेट 60 रैस सिग्नल, तो उसमें 8 के बिना 12 सेल्स, 16
Oh,
सेल्स, 20 सेल्स दिख रहा था.
so the reproduction system
हाँ,
accelerated.
reproductive system become more
Uh,
proactive.
can this be
So
done with the normal sperm?
normal sperm, no. Mutated sperm or mutated egg, a combination should be there. So then they were able to find these mutations, and then what is the protein, then they catalog what is its relevance to humans. एकदम pathway क्या होता है human में, EGF signal देता है, EGF receptor लेता है, फिर RAS को activate करता है, फिर cell division जाते होता है. Same protein, same genes in C. elegans, same protein pathway in humans. So there they have given Nobel Prize for cell development, cell fate specification in 2010 around, or 2004, 2002. Then उसके बाद green fluorescence protein का भी एक a good animal model to develop that, Japanese scientist का एक Nobel Prize बन गया. फिर उसके बाद आप बोल रहे थे ना, you can kill the cell, something like that. So
For
this,
cancer cells. Cancer cells.
yeah, so there is a RNA interference.
Mhm.
This RNAi, this is like CRISPR, what do we see nowadays?
Uh-huh.
So ये मेथड भी क्या है कि हम जीन को म्यूटेट किया, जीन को जाके किल करने का टेक्निक है. यू ऐड एक्स्ट्रा प्रोटीन्स, दे विल गो एंड किल द जीन्स.
Yes, yes.
तो कैंसर जीन्स को भी किल करने का आरएनए इंटरफेरेंस का बहुत बढ़िया टेक्निक था ये कैंसर के लिए और मेनी सेवरल डिसीजेस के लिए ब्यूटीफुल मैकेनिज्म. तो इसके लिए भी 2010 में नोबेल प्राइज मिला. तो इट्स अ वेरी ब्यूटीफुली
But it must be very expensive.
the organism itself, as I said, small and growing in the lab, is little bit okay, but to little bit of advanced chemical techniques, and then there is an advanced microscope called confocal microscope where we do live imaging, like egg से लेके adult तक देख सकता है, 40 hours भी live image कर सकता है. वो microscope is almost like it's in millions, billions
Yes,
of
yes.
rupees, millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Fortunately, in Czech Republic, they had one microscope when I joined.
Okay.
So that Olympus system they bought with government funding. I was very happily enjoying that
Okay.
costliest microscope to see all the GFP imaging and my cells. That was very, very inspiring.
But sir, tell me something. I just want to ask you a very simple question.
Yes,
Now,
please.
in Andhra, there was a wave at one time. People used to line up. This is very out of the to for asthma patients to eat that fish. Swallow
Oh,
that fish.
yeah. That fish.
Do you think is it related to something in microbiology or system or something like that? But it's I'm totally ignorant about that. If you could kindly explain.
No. I specifically don't remember that person and the fish thing, but the technique is nearby Nellore, I think. Near Nellore
Yes.
unit, coastal
Yes,
area.
yes.
So
That fish had unique properties.
it seems like I haven't dwelled into too much into that, but I was reading some information few years back that there is both scientific, some science can work, and some psychology, like placebo effect. So, but specifically in terms of science, I need to look into whether the fish has something or the medicine is putting into the fish, it has something to do with asthma. That I need to look, and I can get back to you on that later. But what I could get a general perspective is placebo effect. This
Yes.
is majority maybe placebo effect, because as a scientist, if he is having a medicine, having a fish having effect, it cannot do magic to all population.
No.
We do experiments in science, right? It cannot be always 100%. You cannot get the result. That hits me that there may be something else. The something else may be psychology, the placebo effect.
It could be a medicated fish also.
It could be a medicated fish also, but it may not act on all the asthma patients. If it's been happening, already foreign pharma companies would have taken him. वो तो ड्रग बना देता था ना उसको लेके अमेरिका जाके. तो वो क्यों नहीं किया? इंडिया में भी, आंध्र में भी फार्मा कंपनीज क्यों नहीं लिया उसको? तो देयर इज
उसका पेटेंट था ना.
patent patent he could have sold the patent. He
Hmm.
could have sold the patent.
Uh,
Anyway, I need to look into that, but I do feel like there is a placebo effect, people believing it,
uh,
saying that if you go to him it will go off, and then some kind of psychology and the subconscious, the body can heal itself.
hmm.
That may be that, but nowadays I don't think so. People are still following that
No,
much
no, no.
craze.
But
Yeah.
most of them related this to suppression or
Mm.
stress. Huh? And
Stress and the modern medicines.
yes, the
Modern medicines are
modern
there.
medicine. You're right.
Mm.
Absolutely right. That's what they relate to. So now I want to ask you another small, not question. It's just blowing my mind. What are the lab situation of labs like in India? You see, most of the medical these colleges like biotechnology and biochemistry and microbiology colleges don't have suitable labs,
Yeah, true.
and it's a shame. Even a university like Delhi Technological University, they don't have a suitable lab. It's a very famous. It's known as the Delhi College of Engineering, but it doesn't
Mm.
have a suitable lab. So how will the children or the students get to know the actual reality of microorganisms and
Absolutely,
organisms?
absolutely.
What is
So,
the situation like in Bangalore now, sir?
Bangalore.
Because
Okay.
you're working, you maybe
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
I have been in Bangalore. I have been exposed to IISc, and I was in Ramaya Arts and Science College as a dean for 4 years. So I think we do have several well qualified people in the group. They do aware of all the situation and this thing. So not to demean someone or not to
Hmm.
say, but I just want to give the plight of the situation or you are pertinent to your question.
Uh-huh.
So my फर्स्ट रैंक लेके एमएससी पे गया था ना, वेंकटेश्वर यूनिवर्सिटी, बड़ा यूनिवर्सिटी,
Uh-huh.
तो बायोटेक्नोलॉजी डिपार्टमेंट,
Uh-huh.
बहुत मेरा एम्स एंड मेरा डिजायर्स वर वेरी हाई एंड होप्स वर वेरी हाई,
Yes.
एंड अनफॉर्चुनेटली उस टाइम पे तो वो सेल्फ सपोर्टिंग डिपार्टमेंट हो गया था.
Uh-huh.
यूनिवर्सिटी के पास फंडिंग नहीं है,
Uh-huh.
गवर्नमेंट के पास फंडिंग नहीं है, तो वो ऐसा कर दिया कि सेल्फ सपोर्टिंग डिपार्टमेंट बोल के स्टार्ट किया. Although I was a first ranker, I had to pay 50,000 rupees for 2 years. So that was really, I said, my father, I don't want to pay the money. I have another virology department, first rank, you pay 2,000 rupees per year. Very good department. I could go there also. But उस टाइम पे ऐसा हो गया ना, IT BT बोल के चंद्रबाबू नायडू, the people were saying
Uh-huh.
biotechnology is a big boom, like
Uh-huh.
IT software,
Uh-huh.
we get this, we get that. So
Uh-huh.
my parents were seeing in the news channel like, no,
Uh-huh.
no, 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 biotechnology पे जाना है आपको.
Uh-huh.
So I went there, and there were 6 free seats and 7 paid seat. Paid seat is 2 lakh rupees per
Oh
two
my God.
years at that time only,
Yes.
two,
Yes. Yes.
2000 to 2002.
Yes. Sir, yes. Sir.
And all friends were politician kids. My friends, they were able to only pay 2 lakh rupees at that time for a 2 year master's program. So we entered. तो equipment कुछ भी नहीं था लैब में,
Hmm.
जस्ट एक रूम था. बोल दिया कि या फर्स्ट ईयर स्टूडेंट्स कम 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 कम. ओके, फर्स्ट रैंकर ये है तो ये जगन मोहन रेड्डी का रिलेटिव है, ये चंद्रबाबू नायडू का रिलेटिव है.
Uh,
ऐसा ऐसा कुछ होके ये रूम पे जाओ, तुम्हारा क्लासेस इधर होगा.
uh,
हाँ, बाद में इस रूम पे जाएंगे, सेकंड
uh,
सेमेस्टर क्लासेस उधर है. ऐसा कुछ हुआ था. मैं एचओडी के, मैं हेड ऑफ द डिपार्टमेंट में जाके पूछ रहा था, वेर इज द लैब सर,
uh,
आई वांट टू सी द लैब.
uh,
तो बोलते जी आप बैठे ना, आपका पीछे है ना 2-3 इक्विपमेंट, वही है,
oh,
that is the lab.
oh my God.
So it's like 20-25 years back situation, right? So I'm saying that whether the situation is good or bad, I was not happy at that time.
Lovely.
So same situation we can see now. I'm
Uh,
telling that there are no equipments at that time.
uh,
For biotechnology, we need a PCR reaction, molecular biology, genes को
yes. Yes.
exponentially
Yes.
आइसोलेट करने का
Uh,
स्पेसिफिक.
uh,
पीसीआर भी नहीं था लैब
uh,
में.
uh,
पीसीआर होगा तो भी हमको हैंड्स ऑन ट्रेनिंग नहीं देते,
uh,
डरते कि हम टूट देंगे,
uh,
अदर स्टूडेंट्स आर नॉट केयरफुल. तो
uh,
जस्ट हमको दूर से दिखा रहा था सब कुछ.
uh,
हाँ, ये पीसीआर मशीन है. लाइक बालाजी टेम्पल गया तो भगवान बालाजी भगवान उधर आए, हम
mm,
टच नहीं करते ना. ऐसा था सिचुएशन कि हाँ पीसीआर मशीन है, ओके ओके ठीक है, नमस्ते पीसीआर मशीन. वी आर नॉट हैविंग हैंड्स ऑन एक्सपीरियंस. So by third semester, I was like scared like anything. I don't know any technical expertise, only book knowledge है, तो मेरे को कौन जॉब देगा इंडस्ट्री में? PhD करना है तो क्या होगा? मेरे को रिसर्च एक्सपीरियंस नहीं है, पेपर नहीं है. I was really into depression, to be honest. बहुत क्योंकि I went with so many hopes, right? I want to do something. बहुत ये हो गया था. मैं छोड़ी भी बोल रहा था, ज्यादा मत करो, हो जाएगा फ्यूचर. आप तो कुछ पढ़ाई करते हो, आपका आपका दोस्त लोग 2 लाख दे के गया, हमको सर्टिफिकेट देना है उन लोग को, नहीं तो मार देंगे हमको. उसको पढ़ाई ही नहीं आता है, तो हमारा फ्लाइट कौन जानेगा? तो वो उसका स्टोरी बोल रहा था. ठीक है. सो कीपिंग दैट, नाउ आई कीप द बैंगलोर नाउ. In Bangalore, I worked in private college for 3 years. Then I worked in Indian Institute of Science for almost 1 year. तो इंडियन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ साइंस पे बढ़िया इक्विपमेंट है, या सब कुछ है, लैब रिच होगा तो आई कैन डू 10 PCRs, आई कैन एक्सेस द होल सेंट्रलाइज्ड इक्विपमेंट because it's one of the premier institutes.
Yes.
Just depending on your principal investigator, you can go and use all the facilities. There will be some charge for something. We had confocal microscope in IISc. We were able to do good research. That's not a problem at all. Taking that for whole Bangalore, one IISc, and I take my commitment to coming back to student teaching and ठीक है, अभी रिसर्च का माहौल नहीं बन रहा इंडिया में, कुछ स्टूडेंट्स को मोटिवेट कर देंगे जाके. मैं आई वेंट टू द रामैया ग्रुप ऑफ इंस्टीट्यूशंस. आई जॉइंड एज अ डीन इन द आर्ट्स एंड साइंस कॉलेज. तो वहां पे गया तो मेरा MSc का याद आ गया. जाओ, ये रूम है, बैठो, उधर कुछ है छोटा मोटा, वही है तेरा. यहाँ पे जाने के बाद भी मेरा प्रिंसिपल मेरे को सेम रूम पे भेजा.
अरे बाबा.
बोला कि या दिस इज योर स्पेस, दिस इज अ रिसर्च लैब, यू नीड टू टेक केयर ऑफ इट. सो मैं गया था. मैं जाते ही, मैडम वेयर इज द PCR मशीन पूछा. PCR? नो नो नो, वी कैन नॉट बाई PCR. मैं बोला PCR बाई नहीं किया तो मैं रिसर्च क्या करूंगा इधर, MSc बायोटेक बच्चों को क्या पढ़ाई कर दूंगा? तो नो नो नो, वी हैव PCR इन द लैब. So I went and checked with HOD. He said, "Sir, that is broken. That is sitting there already for 3 years. So we are unable to get funds. We are not. I am not saying anything about my institution or any institution. Please, off the record. I'm telling about an example of an institute. That the situation in Bangalore.
IISC is very, very prominent.
IISc is good. I'm saying I don't want to bring specifically name of any institute. I worked in private also. Some ex-institute, let's say, this situation happened. So I checked with X number of more institutions. Same situation. They don't have PCR. Students will not get training. They may get small training with a workshop or like that. So still, 25 years back, many of the private colleges in Bangalore, they don't give full hands-on training to master students, biotechnology students, biochemistry students, all in terms of academics, practicals, curriculum, exam, study, pass. Okay, that's it. And no research component into MSc program at all.
Now, I have one last question. We have about 8 minutes. I have to ask you.
Yeah.
What message would you give to the students of biochemistry, biotechnology, microbiology if they want to do their research in a
Yes.
lab? They sorely miss it. My children have done this, and some other children. They want to do internships in a lab, but I
Yeah.
told them that there's no lab available.
True.
So what do you expect them to do? Go to Bangalore, go to China, go to Japan? Where, sir? Could you kindly elaborate on this? How would you, as a student, if you were a student, how would you overcome this? Because
Yeah.
students are thirsty. I've been
Yes.
receiving many queries. Sir, we want to go do an internship. Sir, we want to do an internship. So I said, I cannot really help you about this.
True. Absolutely.
So if you could kindly advise me or guide me on
So
this.
yes. So same situation when I was dean and head of research. So the same things I was getting from students. So the problem is the numbers. So for my department, I had almost combined microbiology, biochemistry, and almost 200 to 250 master students I had in only one college in Bangalore. Compared to in all Bangalore colleges, we have close to 5 to 10,000 biology master students. That's a huge number, or maybe more. Then, if I can connect with my IISc contacts. I can send at least few students to do internship there. Let's say IISc has some 20 labs, 20 professors. I can send my students, let's say to my lab, 2 students only per 6 months. I cannot send more than that. So if I can push myself, 40 students and can only go to IISc with 20 professors, but all the 40 will not be selected because the professor will interview them. The
Uh-huh.
professor will check for trust of the student.
Yes, yes,
When experiment given, trust should be there for results.
yes,
How he takes care of the equipment, he
yes,
should be very
yes.
diligent or obliged to that. So it all screening comes. I can send only for 6 months, only 4 students with availability. So of the 10,000 students, the quality of the students will give you only maximum 1,000 students to put for internship. Of the 1,000, given the resources in Bangalore, only 100, if they push both faculty, students push together, maybe 100 people or 50 people can only get the genuine training what they wanted. So the other thing is there are no resources. If they cry also, they have to wait for next 6 months or later or masters later, one more time, they have to do that. So
But does this apply to all over India, sir?
probably same situation because how many big research science labs we have in India, we can count TIFR, IISc, Tata Institute, Genetics. Then like we can count NCBS, CCMB, CCAMP. Now at least 5 to 10 in Bangalore. Whole India also, if you count compared to engineering institutes, how many life sciences we have? Not very less. 1,000 institutions overall India for a population of 1.4 and population of huge student, only 1,000 life science institutions. So if I take my SV University, why they have not become self-sufficient research potential university by now? No, they are still teaching institutes only. No faculty does any research.
No, for
Why?
sure. That's true.
Why they cannot do that? Why they cannot get grants? Why they cannot get? Still the granting is also at the government level, central and state government, huge granting. It may not cost that much, the money going into different areas. Very low amount of GDP, 1 or 2% of GDP can help a huge boost to research in India, but I don't see that
What
coming.
about private players like Tata?
Private Tata, they have their own institutes they are running, but they cannot give all the money to trust and all the money not to science. But one thing is that the private colleges government can bring thing that the NAC committee is bringing it now. The private colleges should, they are getting a lot of money as profit from student fees because exorbitant fees have been taken from
Yes,
them.
yes.
So the fees they can look into not only profit, they can put some amount for research, infrastructure development, they can do that, but the push is coming, but still it's not in the right direction. For example, मेरे डिपार्टमेंट में एक ही पीसीआर था ये 2024 पे भी. I want to see that government can give one PCR, the institute can fund 4 PCRs from their profit. तो एक मास्टर्स में 5 PCR हो गया तो at least they don't need to go to IISc. The students get in the same lab, they can learn the PCR technique in the first 6 months.
What is PCR actually, the full form of
It's
PCR?
a polymerase chain reaction machine, a
Uh-huh.
PCR machine. So it is like amplification. So you just give one small fragment of gene, you'd give 2 proteins, they will extend the gene sequence because it is like binary code 10
Mhm,
ATGC only. The genome is made up of ATGCs only.
mhm.
So if you can read the ATGCs, so you can copy them and then 1 copy, 2 copy like that. The machine can make a multiple copies of the same gene. One gene can be multiplied by 200 times. So the DNA of the same gene can be multiplied. So that can be used for further experiments.
And how much does it cost?
How much?
Does it cost money? How much money does it cost?
The PCR machine, good one is 5 to 6 lakhs rupees.
Mm.
And then if you want to run each reaction, it may cost 500 to 1000 rupees. So 4 lakhs machine per lifetime. And then one reaction is 500, 200 students. They need to buy the chemicals. 200 students can do 200 into 5, close to 10,000. So the private institutions will look into this also. Why should I spend 10,000 for chemicals? Why can't I do groups and only one person can do the reaction? That's what.
Yeah, I thank you for your beautiful contribution, for your, ever great knowledge about this, and I'm really indebted to you,
No
Girish.
problem. It's
It
my
was such a
privilege and
such a
my
wonderful session that we had, and I do hope people across the spectrum also understand that this is a
yeah.
vital, piece of information that you are diverging to all the students of microbiology, biotechnology, and they need to, work on this more so that
Yes, truly.
on the institutions.
Mainly for life science, the student motivation is very, very important because he is passionate, fine, but he is motivated, fine. But how long he can hold the motivation? Till masters, till PhD, till postdocs, till assistant professor, or till life. So if you are a science student, you
Uh,
should be a lifelong learner.
that,
That is the
that's absolutely true, sir. So thank you so much for your enlightened
yeah.
talk on this, and we hope we can meet again and more often.
Sure,
I
sure.
think it's time we close the
Yeah.
talk. Thank
Thank
you
you.
again.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Bye
Thank
bye.
you, Mr. Shah.
Have,
Thank you,
have a good
Rajiv
day.
Garuzina family. Have a nice day.
Where's Rajiv Garu?